Continuing our series looking at the best free agents at each position, today we're going to break down Buffalo Bills linebacker Tremaine Edmunds. PFF has him as the 17th best free agent, and Brad Spielberger, who does these contract projections, has him getting 4 years, $75 million, which is just over $18 million a year. And after going through his film, I'm a huge fan of Tremaine Edmunds' game. I think Levante David is the better player, but when you consider Edmunds' age at 24 years old, he would be the top linebacker on my free agency board. Before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Also follow us on all of our social medias. You can find the links to those in the description below. It's not an exaggeration to say that Tremaine Edmunds is a generational athlete at the linebacker position, and that's why he went in the first round despite being raw and unpolished as a player. He's over 6'4", 253 pounds with 34.5-inch arms, and he ran a 4.54 in the 40-yard dash. And in the final year of his rookie contract, Tremaine Edmunds really put everything together, and you saw the result of an elite athlete figuring out what to do on the football field. He had a 90.0 PFF coverage grade, which was the highest among NFL linebackers, and he led all linebackers with 10 pass breakups. And this is where Tremaine Edmunds adds most of his value, and it's why a team's gonna pay him a big contract, because he can be that rangy middle of the field coverage player that's extremely difficult to find. So on this play against Miami, the Bills are playing Tampa 2, which is basically just cover 2, except the deep middle defender is gonna play with a lot more depth. So you've got these two safeties playing the deep halves, the corners are playing the flats, and then Edmunds' job is to pick up vertical routes down the middle and cover up the soft spot in front of the safeties. He's starting out walked up on the line of scrimmage, so he's got a lot of depth to recover, and he's just reading the route distribution, trying to identify which player's running down the seam. Initially, he's facing the right side of the field, but then he flips his hips, sees Mike Gesicki running down the seam, and then he uses his length to get into the passing window and force an incompletion. Next play, the Bills are in quarters coverage, but Tremaine Edmunds' role doesn't really change. He's just using his peripheral vision to scan the field and figure out which route is attacking the deep middle. So he gets depth, picks up the seam route, and then turns his hips and breaks up the pass without drawing a penalty. On this play, the Vikings are in a 3-by-1 formation, so Adam Thielen, who's the number 3 receiver, is most likely going to be running the inside most route. Tremaine Edmunds walls off the route from the inside, and then this is incredible hip fluidity to mirror this route across the field. He doesn't allow any separation, and then he gets his head up and plays the ball in the air. On this play against Green Bay, you can see again he has that body control to play the ball when his back's turned to the quarterback. Playing underneath leverage on these seam routes is really difficult, especially when the ball's slightly underthrown, because if the receiver just works back to the football, it's really easy to draw a pass interference penalty. But Edmunds has the body control to match his speed with the receiver and then time his actions with the receiver's body language. So once he starts to make a play on the football, Edmunds sticks his hands up and tips the ball up for an interception. And these plays where he's keeping up with receivers down the seam in a straight line are impressive, but what's even more rare is his ability to cover deep overs across the entire field. He not only has the speed to protect the deep middle, but he also has the hip fluidity to mirror these routes laterally. So on this play, he bites on the play action. Robert Woods is able to get a few steps behind him, but he keeps up with the route all the way to the sideline. His eyes are on the quarterback, so once the ball reaches him, he extends his arm and tips it up for an interception. And then he's also really effective playing top down in zone coverage, where he can read the quarterback's eyes and accelerate into passing windows. And he has the ability to play man coverage on running backs and tight ends out of the backfield. So Tremaine Edmunds is a complete cover linebacker. You could make the argument he was the best cover linebacker in the NFL last season, and I think teams will pay a premium to have a player that can lock down the middle of the field. But Tremaine Edmunds doesn't come with a lot of the drawbacks that you usually see with coverage linebackers. Usually these guys are 220, 230 pounds, and they're a liability in run defense. But Edmunds has the size of a Mike linebacker from 2003, so he adds that value in coverage, but he's also a complete 3-down linebacker. His size and length makes him really effective engaging with and shedding blocks, and he's really improved the speed at which he diagnoses plays. Comparing last year's film to his first 3 seasons, he was just in better position a lot more often. If I were a team that needed a linebacker, I would probably go with a cheaper option than Tremaine Edmunds, but that doesn't really have much to do with how I view Edmunds as a player. It's more about the low hit rate historically for these big linebacker contracts. But whichever team signs Tremaine Edmunds is instantly upgrading their pass coverage, and he's still only 24 years old, so you can project him to improve and develop even more. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments any NFL free agents that you'd like me to cover.